the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has just today, announced a social media ban for under-16. So sites like Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube and Instagram, they are going to be among those sites affected. The ban's expected to come into place in spring next year. Sir Keir said that he wasn't prepared to compromise on the safety and happiness of his children, of our children. And he's had this to say. He joined Ben and Cash on This Morning a little earlier.
Yeah, I'm Prime Minister. I'm also a dad. We all worry about our children. You can't get away from it. It's a recipe for bullying and abuse. Everything you do is recorded in some way or form, you know, in 5, 10, 20 years. All this material there. Actually, I don't think it overall makes children happier.
Well, that's what he said this morning, on This Morning, with so much speculation as how this ban is actually going to be implemented. We talked about this last week, Brenda, and we had the Home Secretary on and, you know, they were talking about it then, and now, obviously, he's announced it officially. Has it gone far enough? Will it go far enough?
I don't think it has gone far enough, because obviously when we were speaking about it last week, I am of the archaic generation, and I'll put that label on myself, that I just think that children should not be walking around with a computer, and that is literally what they're doing.
So for you, it's more access to the internet.
Access to the internet, yeah. But, you know, I go on my phone, on my social media, and I've got little settings on there, and it's got love, it's got DIY, it's got gardening, it's got fashion, and then all of a sudden, some terrible things start coming through my phone, and the algorithm. You know, it doesn't work. It
so
pushes
as in you're
things.
saying things get pushed
onto
you.
Things,
you therefore see them without asking.
Exactly, without asking for it. And I think that this is the only way that you can control this and control the anxiety that's going on with the young people. There's so many studies that show that children just scrolling on their phone mindlessly, it has an effect on them. And for me, the way of taking that away is because you have to be 18 to have a contract, a phone contract in the first place, is you get them a normal phone, just a phone. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I had. That's what my children had.
Well, I think our boys are older.
Yeah,
so I kind of missed the worst of it. We kind of
missed this bit, and I'm very glad that we did miss it. I mean, I think you're so right about the algorithms. I mean, I noticed for myself, I had to mention to my husband the other day, I watched a documentary. It was Spencer Matthews' documentary about going to find his brother, who was the youngest person who died on Everest. And having watched that, I was interested, I think, about the ice flow, the Cumber ice flow, and so I just put that into the internet. And now suddenly, if I scroll through, I just get endless, not just about Everest and not just about base camp, but these awful bits about the death zones, with showing me pictures of people who didn't make it. And I'm like, I found that horrifying, and that's what's happening to our kids. The thing that worries me about this is how we're going to enforce it, because they've said that, so experts have warned that its Australian ban has been unenforceable, that 6 in 10 Australian under-16s are still on social media sites 6 months after the ban, and that was introduced because of tech firms' failure to block them and children seeking. So I just want to know how we're going to police it.
It's got to be the tech firms, hasn't it? I think what they're saying is, and we discussed it with the Home Secretary last week, is that, you know, you've got to say to the tech firms, you've got to do this, and if you don't, then there will be either fines or repercussions for the tech firm. Because I think until now, they've kind of said, oh, you really shouldn't be having that content out there, you should be doing something about it, but they haven't had any repercussions if they don't. And I think now they're saying there will be repercussions. And I think doing this helps parents, because obviously a lot of people watching might say, look, you're the parents, you know, you should be looking at what your children are watching, you should be across it all. But tech just runs away from us. If you could say to children, listen, I'd love to give you a smartphone, but I'm not allowed. It is against the law. It kind of helps parents, I think, back up that argument.
Absolutely. I think we need to really look for the future generation as well. That's what's really important, because it's all well and good, like, we sit here now like nanas. We remember the world where there was none of this, and there was none of this online bullying, and it worries me, this isolation they have in their bedrooms when they're just on their phone, on their own, with no actual monitoring from parents. So I think we need to set a precedent now, and hopefully, I know what you're saying, it will take time, but I think in hope that as we move forward, it's going to make a difference, because there's some brilliant brilliant parts of social media, but there's also some really bad places, you know. So I think we need to kind of start flying the flag for saying, no, it's a good thing, it's a good moment now. Let's encourage it, you know, not poo-poo it now. Let's go with it to think that hopefully, you know, when my nieces and nephews are as teenagers, you know, that hopefully we're in a safer place, because it's the word safety, because you don't know who they're talking to.
You know, Sir Keir Starmer did say, and Ben and Kat asked him, you know, like, there are children who are on it now and who are under 16, who are now going to obviously then be told you can't have that. That's going to be, and he agreed, acknowledged it would be a very difficult transition. But my point is, you've got to start somewhere. You know, so there are people that go, oh, it's too late now, you know, it's all out there. And I go, well, that's like us sitting back and saying, oh, well, you know, that's just how it is now. I think
make it the normal.
To start somewhere. I wish them the best of luck with it. Like you said, there are children who are very clever at bypassing, but that's not all children. So, like you said, the next raft of children coming up who aren't allowed social media before they're 16, maybe they won't be.
And until then, maybe, happy birthday, darling, here's Nana's old Nokia.
Yes. Where you couldn't do that.
So, I mean, I have no problem with having a phone, but then I do know, again, I mean, it's such a big topic. You know, one of our teams said her children have phones, they're 12, and they do a lot of schoolwork, the school send messages. So she said it's kind of, you know, they're in that area. So where do you stop it? But anyway, that's only just been announced today, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more and, you know, and see where it goes.